I don't have a daddy. She has started crying. The city lights glitter through the glass walls of Ethan Blackwood's penthouse office. But to him, the view felt emptier than the silence inside. At 35, he was the youngest billionaire CEO in the city, feared in boardrooms and admired in magazines. Yet when the meetings ended and the applause faded, Ethan returned to a space too quiet, too lifeless. Loneliness had become his most loyal companion. He buried himself in work, chasing deals worth billions, because the moment he stopped, the ghosts of his past clawed back. Memories of betrayal, a broken family, and the woman who had once promised him forever but left him shattered. Tonight was no different. His tie hung loose, and his eyes burned from the endless files spread across his desk. It was past midnight when he finally shut his laptop and decided to leave. His driver had already gone home, so he took the back exit of the tower. The winter wind bit through his coat as he walked toward his car in the dimly lit street. That's when he heard it, soft sniffles, fragile like glass breaking. Ethan paused. His gaze swept the alley beside the building, and there she was, a tiny girl, no more than 6 years old, sitting on the cold pavement, hugging a worn-out teddy bear. Her cheeks were red from the cold, and tears streaked down her face. Something inside him twisted. He should have walked away. Children were never part of his world, but her little voice stopped him. "Sir, can you help me?" she whispered, looking up with eyes too big, too broken for someone her age. Ethan crouched down slowly, cautious as if she might disappear. "Where's your mother?" he asked, his tone firm but gentle. The girl hugged her teddy tighter. "Mommy? Mommy went to the hospital. She told me to wait, but she didn't come back." Her lips trembled, and she lowered her gaze. I don't have a papa." The words pierced through him like a blade. Ethan had heard countless pleas for money, for favors, for business opportunities, but never had 4 words destroyed him the way hers did. "I don't have a papa." For a moment, Ethan forgot the cold, forgot the world. He only saw her, fragile, abandoned, alone, just like he had once been. He cleared his throat, trying to control the storm rising inside him. "What's your name, little one?" She sniffled. "Lila." "Lila," he repeated, the name rolling off his tongue softly. He glanced at her thin sweater, not nearly enough for the freezing night. Without thinking, he removed his coat and wrapped it around her tiny frame. She sank into the warmth, holding the coat like it was the safest thing in the world. Then, with eyes glistening, she looked straight at him. Can you be my daddy?" "Forever?" Ethan froze. The question echoed in his chest, breaking down walls he had spent years building. No one had ever asked him for love. Not his parents, not his ex-fiancée, not his so-called friends. Everyone wanted his power, his wealth, his empire. But this little girl who had nothing, she wanted him. For the first time in years, his throat tightened. He wanted to say no, to keep the distance, to remind himself that attachments only led to heartbreak. But when he saw the way her small hand reached out, trembling, desperate, he couldn't. Kneeling before her, Ethan took her hand into his larger one. "Lila," he said, voice deep but trembling with an emotion he barely recognized. "I don't know how to be a daddy, but I won't let you stay out here alone." "Not tonight." Her little eyes widened with a flicker of hope. "So you'll take me with you?" He nodded once. "Yes, I'll take you with me." The child's smile, tiny, fragile, filled with trust, was enough to shatter what remained of Ethan Blackwood's cold, lonely heart. As he lifted her into his arms, her head rested against his chest, small breaths fogging his shirt. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something other than emptiness. Something dangerous, something terrifying, something beautiful, a reason to live. But he didn't know that by taking Lila into his world, he wasn't just rescuing her. She was about to rescue him too. Ethan carried little Lila into his penthouse, the girl clinging to him as if she feared he might disappear if she let go. For a man who was used to the cold luxury of glass, steel, and silence, her small presence filled the room with something he had long forgotten, warmth. He set her gently on the couch. She looked around, eyes wide at the glittering chandelier and floor-to-ceiling windows. But she didn't ask about the gold or the view. She only hugged her teddy and whispered, "It's not scary here, because you're with me." Those words wrapped chains around Ethan's guarded heart. He made her some hot chocolate, something he hadn't done since his younger days, and sat with her until she drifted off, curled under a blanket. For hours, he simply watched her sleep, unable to understand why this child mattered more than anything he owned. The next morning, his assistant was stunned to find Ethan Blackwood, the ruthless CEO, holding a little girl's hand as they entered the hospital. "We'll find your mommy," Ethan promised softly, his thumb brushing over her tiny knuckles. When they reached the reception, Ethan demanded information about Lila's mother. After a few minutes, a nurse hesitantly guided them to a small ward. Ethan's chest tightened the moment he saw the frail woman lying on the bed. Her face was pale but still striking. Her long, dark hair framed delicate features, and though her eyes were closed, Ethan recognized something about her instantly, something achingly familiar. Lila rushed to the bedside. "Mommy!" The woman stirred, her weak eyes opening slowly. When they met Ethan's, she froze. He froze too. "Isabella?" Ethan's voice cracked. Her lips trembled. "Ethan." The name left her like a confession. It felt like the world tilted. Isabella. The woman who once owned his heart. The woman who had vanished years ago without explanation. The woman who had left him to drown in his loneliness. And now she was here. As Lila's mother, Ethan's mind raced. He looked at the little girl, at her dark curls and eyes too familiar. Suddenly the truth hit him like a thunderstorm. "Lila," he whispered, turning back to Isabella, his voice raw. "She's mine." Isabella's eyes filled with tears. She nodded, her hands trembling as they clutched the blanket. "I wanted to tell you, but when I found out I was pregnant, you were already broken, drowning in work. I thought you didn't want us. So I left. I raised her alone. But the illness came, and I couldn't protect her anymore. I told her to wait outside because I was afraid she would see me like this." Her words sliced through him. Rage, grief, and relief collided in his chest. Years of pain suddenly had an answer. "You thought I didn't want you?" His voice shook, the mask of the ruthless CEO falling away. "Isabella, I would have given up the world for you. For both of you." She broke then, sobbing quietly. Layla climbed onto the bed, resting her little head on her mother's chest. "Mommy, don't cry. Daddy's here now," he promised. That one word, Daddy, undid Ethan completely. His vision blurred as he reached for Isabella's hand, squeezing it tightly. "From today," Ethan said firmly, his deep voice trembling with conviction, "you're not alone anymore. Neither of you. I don't care about the past. I only care about now. I'm not letting you go again." Isabella's lips curved into the faintest smile through her tears. For the first time in years, Ethan saw the spark he had fallen in love with. Lila beamed, looking between them with childlike certainty. "So we're a family now?" Ethan bent down, kissing the top of her head, his arms wrapping around both Isabella and Lila. "Yes, sweetheart. Forever." For the first time in his life, the man who had everything finally felt complete, not because of wealth or power, but because a little girl without a papa had chosen him, and in doing so gave him back the love he thought he had lost forever.